Hi, it's Mimi Chen for AsAmnews. As you know, Asian representation in the comic book field has been rather spotty. Illustrator Eric Nguyen and his buddy Scott Burman are determined to change that, especially Eric with his massive background as an illustrator.
I've been doing this comic book work for a long time, about 12, 15 years. I broke in actually doing independent work. My first book was with Rick Remender. He's a big time name now, got all sorts of shows going on. So he's done very well for himself. But we broke in at the same time. We created a book called Strange Girl and Gigantic, both one from Image and one from Dark Horse. From then on, I started working for DC, Marvel, doing all sorts of the prominent comic book names, X-Men, Batman, Hulk, and all that stuff. But one title that I'm specifically kind of I like to kind of now shout out is that the rapper or the R&B artist, The Weeknd, he collaborated with Marvel and he did a book called Starboy with Marvel, and he chose me to do the artwork on his book. At that time, I didn't realize how humongous of an opportunity that was, because you think of The Weeknd, it's just, but when you're doing the work, I'm always so kind of like in my own cave, I guess, because when you're doing the work, you kind of just like narrow focused and just doing the work. But it was a big thing, and I'm pretty happy with the results, and glad that I had the opportunity to do that.
That's awesome, because The Weeknd really is super huge.
Yeah, right. And the funny thing is that I would have liked to meet him, because he did come to a concert here, and I was like, oh man, that would have been the perfect time. Have some original art for The Weeknd. Take some pictures. If any of The Weeknd's people out there and they see this, I got some original artwork here for you.
Well, let's find out, who is Scott Burman.
I comparatively, I am nobody. Yes, I am I think Eric, would crazy be a good word to describe me? Probably, because I was crazy enough to email Eric. I'm pretty much nothing, and so I am a lucky case. Eric, I always joke, was stupid enough to answer an email from me. And he read one of my scripts. He liked it a lot. And then and I said, okay, great, you like it. I hadn't heard from him. He just said he liked it. Keep in touch. You hear that, you're like, yeah, sure. And then one day he called me out of the blue, and he was like, hey, it's Eric Nguyen. Let's do a book. And I'm like, was this guy crazy? Are you pranking me? What's happening? And yeah, he said he wanted to do something funny. He liked my script in the past, and we started brainstorming and came up with this bad boy that we're putting out there.
That is an incredible story. And then, of course, Eric, you better watch out, because other people might be emailing you.
Well, the thing with I do get a few non-solicited emails about would you like to work with me and stuff. But the thing with Scott that he left out is that I've been doing so much comic work for so long, and I've been doing a lot of the same kinds of stories where a lot of the books are kind of like dark and noir, and Batman or Punisher, or like I did 22 issues of X Vigilante. So it's a lot of more serious kind of mission-based books. Not much comedy at all, just lots of splatter and all that stuff. Going around shooting people, which is fun at the time. But now, when I took a break, I was like, okay, I want to do something fun again. I want to do something where I can enjoy the artwork once again, and Creator Own lets you do that. You can do whatever you want without anyone telling you how it's supposed to be done. So with Scott, though, what he left out is that because I've done so much work and I've read so many different types of scripts, his script actually was one of the very few that when I read it, I laugh, and it gives me a lot of different ways of looking at how I'm going to compose this book. And Scott is, look, he's gonna get hired by Marvel DC pretty soon, because his scripting, his characterization, and his dialogue is so good, it's so funny, and you actually relate to the characters, whoever it may be. He just wrote a script for Deadpool, so funny. I mean, usually I would take a break when I read a script. I'm like, okay, okay. But when I read a script, it's so funny. So,
Oh,
he's
cool.
gonna be big.
I paid Eric to say all that. I said, listen, hit the notes, funny, talented. You forgot good looking, but we'll let
I can't
that
go that
slide
far. I can't go that
for
far.
now.
Look, you're on camera. I can't lie.
Well, I'm sure, people will find some eye candy here.
Oh, come on. No.
I don't know about that.
Maybe humor,
We'll win them over with our humor. Yes.
Yeah, exactly. Haven't we seen enough of these tropes where it's, the amazing looking woman and then the guy is a little bit like, what the heck?
yeah. Everyone says that about me.
For the record, I wanna give her a quick shout out there.
Well, pardon me for getting into the race thing, but it seems to be an important element in this story. So I'm assuming this idea was actually generated by who? Who started the white savior? Let's poke at fun at that trope.
Again, we started this so long ago that the way that I think that it actually came up because we were kind of trying to figure out what we wanted to do. And at the time, I think what was it, Constant Wu or something about the Great Wall. It was actually the Great Wall.
Yeah, the Great Wall with Matt Damon. That movie.
Yeah, we just had a good laugh. We were like, what? China, and he saves the Great Wall. He saves old China and all that stuff.
Yeah,
I love Matt Damon though. Come on, Born Identity. Come on, you can't go wrong. But we just thought, what? How? And so then then Scott made some jokes and I started to laugh and was like, dude, White Savior. Then it was like, that would be an awesome title, White Savior.
So I'm gonna change Eric's story a little bit. Eric came up with the title White Savior, and I said, no way in hell, Eric. I do not want to write something called White Savior with you. I don't want my name forever Googled with let's come up with any different title. But we kind of realized maybe it'll get some of the attention we want, so we went with it. But I am definitely every day biting my nails and checking my hairline because I'm stressing so much about my name forever being Googled with White Savior.
But honestly, I think back then it wasn't as prevalent as it is now. Now it's really a lot about representation, White Savior, and all that stuff. But back then, I don't think it was as. I don't think people were as concerned with it back then.
Are we talking like 5 years ago, or
yeah, about 5 years ago?
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Because you keep saying long ago. Am I going 10 years ago?
No. Well, that's long. 5 years, that's a long time. I wish I'd get my 5 years back.
We all wish we could get this last 3 years back.
Oh boy, my doctor would tell me that too. Man, you were healthy back then.
So this means that Scott blind emails you and you guys get together. Is this like were you actually meeting up physically, or did you do this mostly virtually? How did this all come about?
All just like this and phone.
We have never been in the same room together, ever.
Seriously?
Yeah.
We've never met.
Never.
Were you guys?
I would have punched him out. All the times that he's been hassling me. Oh, did you get this done yet? Did you get this done yet? Did you get yet?
What cities are you guys based out of?
I'm in North Cal.
Okay.
Near the Sacramento area.
Okay.
And I was in Los Angeles for 20 years, and I said to my wife, she wanted to move. I said, I'll move anywhere as long as there's no snow, no cold. So we moved to Austin the week before the huge snowstorm, which is the story of my life right there. So yeah, in Austin now, and we're figuring out where we're gonna be permanently.
Well,
it depends on if White Savior takes off, and then that'll change the financial situation a bit, we hope.
Got it. So how did you guys go about getting this published? Is this, I didn't really check it. I just kind of skimmed through it. Is this like a self-publish or a real publisher, or like what happened?
Go ahead, Scott.
Oh, so we went to a bunch of publishers, and a lot of them, Eric has worked with all the publishers, and frankly, a lot of them said no, and understandably, we gave them the title White Saviors, so it's something tricky, but then Dark Horse Comics is publishing it. Dark Horse is one of the biggest, the best out there.
Oh yeah,
They
it's a
do,
big name.
yeah, Umbrella Academy, Hellboy. If you're going with a comic book company, you want to go with Dark Horse. And Eric had actually emailed them earlier, and we just never got a response from them. And the reason why is because a lot of times they get 100 emails, and so it just must have slipped through the cracks, because the same guy we emailed Eric back, and then Eric said, "Oh yeah, I've also got this book." So we just assumed they didn't want it because they didn't respond, but they must have just missed the email. And so Eric emailed back the book.
I think you're talking about something, another maybe it was Image or something, because I actually I have a long working relationship with Dark Horse. I've been doing Dark Horse for years. And actually, one of my other books is with Dark Horse. It's Gigantic, which is about a giant robot. And they actually published that maybe about 8 years ago. But I have a long working relationship with them. And so I just thought I just send it to my my editor. And
I mean, this is the first time we sent it, though?
No. I only sent him.
I thought we sent it to him and he missed it. So I don't even know the story. Why was I talking here?
I sent it to my editor, and he sent it around, and we got a response pretty quickly from the entertainment side saying that they loved it. They wanted to see more or hear more about it, because at the time we only had one issue done to show around, and it got even up to the head honcho, Mike Richardson, who is by far one of the best comic guys out there. The way he created Dark Horse and representing creator-owned books back then, because back then there were not a lot of avenues for creators to create their own books. Most of the time they'll work for the big two, Marvel, DC, but Dark Horse came about to help promote that. And it got to Mike's hand, and Mike Richardson, he laughed and he loved it. So we had a meeting with Mike, and he wanted it. And so we decided to go with Dark Horse.
Cool. So how many, I believe you said that
I'm trying to figure out the story myself now. Maybe I sent the email and they ignored me naturally. That's probably what happened. My memory is bad.
Well, when you're emailing like hundreds of publishers, I'm assuming that can be a little hard to track.
Without a doubt. Yeah.
So I understand that the first issue just hit the stands today.
Yep. Yesterday we had a great day. We had a great day with getting articles up and people reviewing it, and just the social media stuff has been fantastic. The support has been fantastic. Now it's just trying to continue it on, because we have 3 more issues coming out for 3 more months. Then we have a trade paperback that puts it all together into one graphic novel. And so we still have a few more time to get the word out there, get people to read it, enjoy it, and also hopefully get the right people to get interested in making it more than just a comic into some sort of other venue like TV or film or something. Hopefully something to that degree.
That was actually going to be my next question. Like, where do you go from there? You have this, fun kind of storyline, and are you like going to make plans for a sequel, or, looking at other Asian white stereotypes to quash?
We do have for now. It's a 4 issue. It's a story that has a nice ending to it, but also it lends itself to a sequel. It really depends on how it does, and if it attracts enough interest to take it even more into not just comic but to TV. We're hoping somewhere in the streaming Netflix or something like that, because it has a lot of potential for spin-offs as far as the whole trope and representation and the whole white savior. There's a dark savior, there's a white savior, there's all sorts of things that we can do to create a series from. And right now we've actually gotten a lot of great responses and interest, especially with the Asian community, where it seems like we have a few interested parties that we're talking to that may help it get there.
That is amazing. Now, have you thought about, if it gets to that point where it turns into a film or TV or whatever, have you thought about who you want to play some of the roles? Any names?
Oh God, people ask that, and I specifically didn't have anyone specifically in mind, but it's just. I mean, if I were to want someone, I mean, I love Glenn, Stephen Nguyen, the guy who plays Glenn on Walking Dead. He's awesome. I mean, I think he would look great at that part too, as Todd Parker. But who knows? I'll let those people who know what they're doing in film do that part.
The one tricky part is some of the people so in the book it's Japanese, but some of the people we're talking to are various different Asian ethnicities, and so like they're saying, hey, we want to change it to Chinese, or we want to change it to Korean, and I'm like, I'm going to step back, I'm going to let Eric handle that. So yeah, it's just interesting, just for the support we're getting has been just overwhelming, and it's we really hope that like our goal is always to bring people together through comedy. And I think if the comedy is strong enough, the message will come across. And yeah, we just had so much fun making it, and we hope everybody has the same amount of fun reading it.
What I've noticed about, say, in Asia, they're very into the manga and stuff like that, in comics as well, and comics online. They will very often make their own versions. You go to Thailand, there's a Thailand version of the same story that was made in some other, town. Would you think, like, how could this translate to other countries? Have you ever thought of that idea?
I haven't gotten that far yet. Again, just
we are now. I am now. Now I'm thinking about it.
Yeah.
Well, because I know that this one's centered more in Japan, but I know that, like, the Koreans, they have that series, that really popular K-drama series, Boys Over Flower, which was remade in a Chinese version and a Thailand version, and this other version. It's like, wow, how many versions can you make?
Well, we will say this: White Savior can make as many versions as possible, as long as Eric and I keep getting a percentage of the gross. Hey, let's go nuts with the version.
There's much smarter people who know how to take this and make it widely accepted. And so I'm hoping that happens.
Well, it seems that, Asians and TV and film have definitely been making good inroads. So I think this is a really great time for people to introduce more content that could possibly be converted. I mean, what do you think about all this resurgence in the Asian community?
Well, I like it. I think it's great. I mean, with Michelle Yao, I think that's winning, and that the movie that just came out I think it's awesome. I mean, who knew that her career has been so awesome? I mean,
I remember watching her in Super Cop with Jackie Chan back in the day, and who knew her career would peak now, and it's still going,
Right.
further.
At the age of
And so,
60.
'cause I remember watching Crazy Rich Asians with my wife, and I'm like, dude, that's like the most badass woman in the world. And like right after we watched it, we went on YouTube and saw like some of her old fight scenes, and mine was just like, what? So yeah, that was cool.
I know it was her moment in the Golden Globes was pretty funny when they were trying to stop her. It's like,
Yeah.
shut up, can beat you all. Well, I want to thank you guys for talking with us today, AsAmnews, and I think, I'm looking forward to reading it because actually, when my editor forwarded to me, I didn't get the copy.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I definitely.
We'll send it.
We'll send it to you.
Well, I'm all for support. I actually have a friend who owns a comic book store, so I'm going to march down and let him know that
Oh, awesome.
he has to promote this comic.
Are you?
Why didn't you order more copies? That's
Yeah, it's like, dude, you gotta put it in a prominent space for people to see.
Illustrator Eric Nguyen and Scott Burman talking about their latest comic book release, White Savior. Be sure to find it in your nearest comic book store. For ASAM News, I'm Mimi Chen.